So here's a picture. They actually went to this company who supposedly ordered 1,200 vehicles. And this is what it is. It's a dispensary in Texas. This small dispensary here. So does that seem believable? This small little dispensary in Texas ordering 1,200 vehicles? Seems like fake news. He's not an engineer. He has no background in EVs or anything like that. And before Mullen, he was CEO of 5 other companies. 2 of those companies, the SEC revoked their license. So they're doing something shady there. 2 of them just failed. Please, like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. Alright guys, so let's go over the Mullen report. So, this should be fun. So, yesterday, this short report by Hindenburg was released on Mullen. Didn't really get a chance to look at it yesterday, but today I got the chance to look at this more in depth, and we're going to go over it together. And I will say, these accusations are pretty serious. It's not looking good for Mullen right now. So, Hindenburg as a firm, they're not really ethically the best people, but I will say that they are usually right. They were the ones that called out Nikola for rolling the truck down the hill. They were right on that. They called out Clover. They were right on that. They called out DraftKings, which I think the DraftKings report was not as credible, but still that happened when DraftKings was around 40 and now it's below 20. So they were right on DraftKings. Also Small Direct Club. They called out a bunch of other companies too, but those were the most notable. Nikola, Clover, DraftKings, and Small Direct Club. So, yeah, not the greatest human beings, but I have to admit, they seem to be pretty good at their jobs of investigating, and they usually get it right. And now they have this report on Mullen. So let's take a look at what they have to say here. Ever since we've been covering Mullen for over a month now, I've been pretty skeptical about that stock. Not that I didn't believe in it, but it just seems like the CEO was going on a media tour, saying some outrageous things that seemed too good to be true. It just didn't really make sense to me. I was very, very skeptical. And yeah, now Hindenburg is disputing all the claims that the CEO has been making. So let's check it out. So we're not going to read the whole report. We're going to go over the biggest points here. So their first argument is that Mullen only spent $3 million in research and development, R&D, on its solid-state battery, and they claim that it's on track for commercialization in 18 to 24 months. And that doesn't really make much sense because there are other companies out there in the market, like Toyota and Panasonic, throwing billions at R&D. And they don't even have technology as good as Mullen is claiming to have. And they aren't ready to sell products in 2 years, 24 months. So yeah, the claim of only spending $3 million in R&D and getting ready to launch in 24 months seems pretty far-fetched. Doesn't really make sense, doesn't add up. So if bigger, more well-known companies with a lot more resources can't even do it, how does Mullen expect to do it? That seems really unrealistic. So that was the first point. Next point is that they had a battery testing, and they came out saying they had really good results, and that the battery was on par with Tesla's, that their battery can't compete with Tesla's battery. That turned out to be fake news. The CEO of the company that actually tested the battery denied that. Yeah, that company was EV Grid, and the CEO of EV Grid said, no, we never would have said that, we never did say it, and certainly wouldn't have said it based on the results of the testing that battery. So the press release said that it yielded 343 AH at 4.3 volts, which I really don't know much about the technology, but they exaggerated the claims of how well their battery was doing. The CEO, Mitchery, lied about that. Fake news. So next point is that Mullen announced a joint venture to manufacture its solid-state battery technology, and Hindenburg spoke with a executive familiar with that partnership, and he says it didn't exist at all. It was an apparent fabrication, and he calls the CEO, David Mitchery, fast-talking and a hustler. So apparently they did have a relationship with a Chinese company to make solid-state batteries. They had a multi-million-dollar deal. They made one payment of about $300,000. And shortly after that, the relationship got terminated. And that Chinese company that they hired pretty much went dark. They still exist, but the website shut down. No one really hears from them anymore. So maybe that wasn't fake news, but that was a failed project. Next point, Mullen claims that it would begin manufacturing 2 models of electric vans within months for an unnamed major Fortune 500 customer. This did happen recently. So it turns out that these 2 electric vans are actually Chinese EVs, and they're just rebranded with the Mullen logo. So they outsource the work to a Chinese company, and they're just going to slap their logo on it. And Chinese EVs aren't that good, besides the big names, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, and Baidu. All other Chinese EVs are pretty bad. And also, that disputes their claims that they're going to make their vehicles here in the US by themselves. And also, I was very skeptical about this Fortune 500 customer. Why couldn't they name who this customer was? That may be just fake news as well. We'll see. but I really do believe this Fortune 500 customer doesn't exist. Next point, the company has no EPA, which is Environmental Protection Agency, certificates for its vans or any vehicle. That is a requirement to sell EV vehicles in the US, and it takes 12 to 18 months to get certified. So they don't have any certifications. It takes a long time to get them, and they're claiming they can pump out these vehicles in 18 months. So that seems like fake news as well. So they don't have many employees, and they haven't begun hiring employees. So it doesn't really make sense how they're going to pump out all these cars when they have no employees working for them. So next point, Mullen announced purchase orders valued at $60 million for 1,200 Class 2 commercial fleet vans. And apparently, the order came from a small Devil's Lettuce retailer who prefers to ship with the post office. So here's a picture. They actually went to this company who supposedly ordered 1,200 vehicles. And this is what it is. It's a dispensary in Texas, this small dispensary here. So does that seem believable? This small little dispensary in Texas ordering 1,200 vehicles? Seems like fake news. Okay, next point. The Mullen Dragonfly, which is a sports car, was built by Chinese manufacturer Kiantu Motors and was meant to be rebranded and sold by Mullen in 2020. So again, outsourcing work to Chinese companies and just slapping your logo on it. But Mullen defaulted on its payment and terminated their agreement. And even though they don't work together anymore, they're still marketing the Dragonfly as its own vehicle. Kiantu is really mad about this. They're claiming intellectual property theft. Yeah, Mullen scammed Kiantu, who built the supercar for them, the Dragonfly, didn't pay him for it, and now they're still marketing the Dragonfly as their own. And you can still reserve one for $1,000 on the website. So shady business practices there. Next point. So another big order for 10,000 vehicles for $500 million. And that was from a electric company in Florida. So we don't have a picture about that electric company in Florida. So this small electric company in Florida only owns 11 vehicles. And allegedly they made a huge order for 10,000 vehicles. Again, seems like fake news. And now let's talk about their plant. So their plant is in Tanika, Mississippi, which was supposed to build pizza delivery cars for Domino's. The plant is supposed to be 125,000 square feet, but Mullen claims they plan to extend the plant to over 1.2 million square feet, and that seems to be a reach, because how is that even possible? They have no money for that. Mullen claims to have state-of-the-art machinery and technology to manufacture these cars, but that seems to be a bunch of fake news also. So here's a picture of the inside of their factory. There's no complicated machinery here. They do have this picture on their website, but this turned out to be a stock image from Adobe. So it seems like they were lying about their state-of-the-art technology and machinery. A lot of fake news regarding their claims about their plant. And also before they purchased this plant, they had plans for 3 different plants elsewhere in the US, and those all got scrapped. And now let's dig into the actual CEO and some of the largest shareholders of this company. So David Mitchery, before he came to Mullen, he has no experience in EVs. He's not an engineer. He has no background in EVs or anything like that. He used to be in entertainment. And before Mullen, he was CEO of 5 other companies. 2 of those companies, the SEC revoked their license, so they're doing something shady there. 2 of them just failed, and 1 merged with a gold mining company. So one of those companies was a medical Devil's Lettuce company. That registration got revoked by the SEC. He also had a luxury sunglasses company. SEC revoked that license. One of the companies was an entertainment company that signed rappers. That company failed. And he also had another entertainment company, AMC, not the movie theater AMC, but American Music Corporation, and that merged with a gold mining operation. So very shady stuff there. Why is an entertainment company merging with a gold mining operation? But in summary, he has no experience in EVs, and everything prior he's done to Mullen has a shady past or has failed. Ethically, it doesn't seem like David Mitchery is that great of a guy. Seems to lie a lot. And in addition to him, some of the biggest shareholders are some pretty shady guys as well. So we got this guy, Taryn Peaser, who controls 29% of the company, biggest shareholder. This guy, Taryn Peaser, has a history of investing in pump and dumps. And there's also this guy, Michael Wachs, who is the 3rd largest shareholder. He controls 8.1% of the company. And this guy, Michael Watts, went to prison for fraud after he defrauded Chase for $20 million. So those were the biggest points in this short report here. Really, really not good. So basically, they're accusing Mullen of straight up lying about everything they've been saying, misleading the public, a lot of fake news, and then they go into detail about how the executives and largest shareholders are really shady people, have a really shady past. So this is really not looking good for Mullen. Like I said, Hindenburg, they're not exactly the most ethical people, but they tend to be right, and they have a lot of proof here. And what's interesting to me is that Mullen has not responded to this in any way. This report has been out for 2 days, not even a statement, nothing. Complete radio silence from Mullen. Even when Nikola got accused, they came out with a statement denying everything. They came out with a rebuttal, although it wasn't that great. But complete radio silence from Mullen. That is a red flag. So I would like to see a response from Mullen. I want to see what they have to say about this. These are some very serious accusations. And just my personal opinion, this guy, David Mitchery, seems very similar to Trevor Milton, the ex-CEO of Nikola. So if you guys recall, Nikola was also a fraud. They made wild claimed they had a working truck, but they ended up just rolling it down a hill and taking a video. All fake news. A lot of similarities between these two CEOs. No experience in the industry beforehand, a lot of talking, and ultimately ended up being frauds. Well, Mullen's not a fraud yet, but allegedly it's a fraud. So yeah, like I said, I was pretty skeptical about this company ever since we've been covering it over a month ago. But I didn't really want to be disrespectful to the Mullen apes. A lot of people were very hyped about this company, really believed in it, and now we're getting some pretty serious accusations. Yeah, no, it's pretty sad. Most of these EV companies are frauds and pump and dumps. We've seen it with Nikola, Lordstown, and the latest one is Centro. And a lot of retail investors are losing their money. Everyone's trying to find the next Tesla. These small EV companies, some of them are legit, but a lot of them are not. So yeah, it's really sad. A lot of fraud going on with this EV sector right now. So if you guys want, you can check out the report for yourselves. I'll put a link in the description. But these are some pretty serious accusations. Mullen has a lot of questions to answer, and it's really not looking good for them. So I'm looking forward to a response from Mullen. Want to see what they have to say. So what does this mean for the share price? So we're not going to do a whole TA, but yeah, that was very serious accusations from Hindenburg, and I do believe it's going to have a very negative effect on the share price. I think the share price is going to tank. Not really sure how low it's going to go, but I can make some educated guesses here. So in the previous shows, I've been saying that there's a triple gap up here. First gap up at 60 cents, second gap up at 150, and third gap up at 180. So usually the gaps do fill. So I do believe that this will come back down to at least 180, probably 150. I don't know about 60 cents, but that's possible. So not financial advice, but I think it's very realistic, very possible that this comes back down to 150 and lower. So good luck to you guys, everyone in Mullen. So there you have it, guys. There's the Mullen short report. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know. Diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.